Tonight, a special edition of Nightline, the urgent threat facing tech-savvy teens. Minor Mayhem, a new generation of teen hackers descending into a life of cybercrime.
I was addicted to hacking. That gave me the most natural high ever.
Chasing cash and status.
I wanted to go out with my friends to parties, to clubs. I pay for everything. I buy cars, trucks, four-wheelers, jet skis, and just have fun.
From the 17-year-old who hijacked Kim Kardashian's social media to the 15-year-old who allegedly cost major Las Vegas casinos more than $100 million.
Individuals as young as 14 are being interviewed by the FBI.
We are with the young man behind the historic breach as he heads to federal prison.
I'm so thankful I got caught. I really am, because I would have never stopped.
Now speaking out from behind bars, and the shocking thing experts are asking parents to do.
This special edition of Nightline, Minor Mayhem, the hackers of Gen Z. We'll be right back. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight for a special edition of Nightline, young people committing big cyber crimes. This look inside a collaboration across ABC News Investigative Unit and dozens of ABC stations across the country. Joining us tonight, our friend Gio Benitez. And Gio, I understand that we spoke with one young person about 48 hours before he had to report to federal prison.
Byron, it's incredible. It is emotional. It is powerful. Wait till you hear his story here, because in just a few moments, we're going to see his last moments of freedom. And later on, he actually has a message from behind bars, and this story really highlights how the biggest crimes can happen right in your own living room.
I need my punishment. I wouldn't say everyone needs prison, but I think I need to go to prison for what I did.
Matthew D. Lane.
Shortly after graduating high school, this Massachusetts teenager, Matthew Lane, helped launch what's been called the biggest cyber attack in U.S. education history.
Potentially concerning news for parents.
The Power School data breach at one of the largest student information systems in the world that has potentially exposed the personal information of millions upon millions.
The company reportedly paid close to $3 million in ransom to recover the private information of 60 million students that Matthew helped compromise.
I definitely knew what I was doing. In spectrum of hackers, like here.
Matthew, now just 20 years old, sat down with ABC News for an exclusive interview 2 days before reporting to federal prison.
I'm gonna take my punishment.
Are you not scared?
Yeah, of course I'm scared.
For Matthew and so many others like him, his gateway to cybercrime was a gaming platform that most teenagers know, Roblox.
Here, every game is built by the community.
It's an online space where gamers can connect with players from all around the world and even create their own games.
It wasn't until I was like 13, 14, a friend that I knew, he put me on the Roblox training program. And then I started getting into that and just kind of spiraled from there, honestly.
The bad guys are on all the platforms watching the kids playing. And when they see an elite level performer, they go approach that kid masquerading as another kid and they go, hey, you want to earn some crypto? Here are the tools, here are the techniques.
Tonight, the story of two hackers who, as teens, fell into a life of cybercrime, whether by stealing directly from people's accounts.
How much money are we talking about here?
Well, like $8 million.
$8 million.
Yeah.
Or by holding their data hostage in exchange for money.
It's easy money, even though it's dirty.
Though these crimes started with gaming, the real-life consequences are no child's play. One still so young, just starting to face his punishment. The other now working to stop teens before it's too late.
They get a little bit of money and they think like they're on top of the world. Like they think like they're in like Scarface movie or something, and they're not.
Say hello to my little friend!
Experts warn this new generation of cybercriminals is uniquely dangerous and shockingly young, chasing money, status, and their next thrill.
It's way more than driving 120 miles per hour on like a back road or a highway, incomparable to any drug at all as well.
Individuals as young as 14 are being interviewed by the FBI.
The cases are startling. From a 17-year-old who hijacked the social media accounts of Barack Obama, Kim Kardashian, Jeff Bezos, and others, to the 15-year-old hacker who allegedly cost major Las Vegas casinos more than $100 million. Another teen said hacking was his hobby before breaking into thousands of platforms at the massive sports betting platform DraftKings and stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars.
When was the last time you hacked someone's account?
Less than a week ago.
Here he is being questioned by police about his years of hacking.
Do your parents know a fraction of this? How do you think they're going to react?
Not the best.
The average age of someone arrested for serious crime is 34 years old. Average age of someone arrested for cybercrime is 19 years old.
There was the 19-year-old New Yorker who, from inside his parents' house, founded one of the world's leading hacker forums, a global market for stolen data that Matthew Lane frequented.
It was called Breach Forums, and that's where everyone flocked to.
The FBI nabbing its founder in an elaborate ruse.
Walk out, Timmy. Right here.
Pardon? Parents need to plug in. Parents need to lock in. Parents need to understand the world that their kids are living in. Understand the threat of their kid being groomed from their bedroom.
That's what happened to Matthew Lane. He says he had a happy childhood and a loving family. But in his teens, he says he started to struggle with mental health, and what he later learned was autism.
And that kind of made me feel like an outcast. I wanted to go find solace in other things. You know, I was gaming or was playing Roblox, and I was involved in the game cheating community.
Roblox says it uses cutting-edge technology to fight cheating, but Matthew still found it, and then a bigger hacking world online where cybercriminals boldly boast of their latest heists and their lavish lives.
And you're like, as a young kid, like, I want that. And then that's what leads you down to the path of greed.
The hacker in him was merciless and methodical.
We would try to get an initial access, and then next step, privilege escalation. Next step was exfiltration, and then 4 is ransom. I would just search top Fortune 500 companies.
As his targets got bigger, so too did his profits.
So I was spending a lot on designer clothes, diamond jewelry. A big thing was the drugs. Lots of drugs, lots. High potency marijuana, magic mushrooms, acid, stuff like that. I felt like I was a zombie. I was disconnected. Nothing I felt like I was doing was real, even though it was. It was a bad era of my life.
But he says the ultimate high came from hacking.
I was addicted to hacking. That gave me the most natural high ever.
In the summer of 2024, Matthew set his sights on the target that would be his downfall, a student-teacher portal used by 80% of school districts across North America.
Only PowerSchool can bring together the information that connects educators, administrators, and families.
It was one of the worst I've seen here when you talk about financial impact. These other victims are going to have a lifetime of defending themselves and having to mitigate risk of their information being out there.
Agent Doug Doman has been with the FBI for more than 2 decades. He oversaw the criminal investigation. He says the type of information compromised in the hack was alarming.
In some cases, social security numbers. In some cases, it was date of birth and names. In others, it was all of that, plus addresses, grades.
A former official said the breach was so concerning that the White House convened 2 briefings on it inside the Situation Room. According to court documents, someone tied to the breach used stolen PowerSchool data as leverage, threatening in a message to destroy your company and bankrupt it to the point of no absolute return if the company didn't pay nearly $3 million in Bitcoin.
The data was exfiltrated to a server in Ukraine. I'm assuming it's because they knew it would be more difficult for U.S. law enforcement to get access to.
PowerSchool did pay a ransom, later saying it did it in the best interest of its customers and would pay for identity protection services. In a statement to ABC News, the company said not all PowerSchool customers were affected, and they have remained focused on safeguarding student, family, and educator data.
I wasn't really thinking about the individual. I was just thinking, oh, these are companies. They got insurance, they'll get bailed out.
Our colleagues at WLS in Chicago speaking to one family potentially impacted by the data breach.
As my kids start to get older or start to think about college and they want, say, a credit card, we just wouldn't know if something's already been opened in their name or under their social security number until we go to take those actions.
Right. Matthew continued his cyber crimes, keeping it all a secret while trying to live his day-to-day life as a college student.
My mentality was I was gonna end up dead for whatever reason, you know, or I was gonna just somehow make myself stop, and I didn't do either of those.
The FBI working behind the scenes to connect the dots.
We're starting to put a picture together of who this individual is, who he's working with.
The smoking gun for investigators, that server in Ukraine.
We saw that the server had been purchased with cryptocurrency, that we were able to tie to Matt Lane's true name in a financial account that he had been using. And when that happened, that's what clicked for us. It's what broke the case.
Coming up, the FBI raid that changes everything.
I get a bang on my door at 6:30.
Plus, the man trying to save teens from the life of crime he once led. And the surprising thing parents can do to protect their kids. For Ricky Schumacher, moments like these with his two kids are precious. Time he thought he might never have.
Yay! I'm very open with my daughter. I didn't try to hide it from her. You know, listen, Daddy did bad.
Like Matthew Lane, he got caught in the web of cybercrime as a teenager.
Young me thought, like, oh, I'm not gonna get caught. What crime am I committing? Because I'm stealing a digital currency. Like, I'm not like robbing your house, I'm not stealing your bank information, I'm stealing crypto. Like, what crime is that? But obviously it's a crime.
Cyber experts say a concerning number of kids who grew up online and immersed in gaming are vulnerable to using their skill sets for bad.
Every hacker is a gamer. And that's because it's the same mentality. It's spotting patterns, it's solving puzzles, it's breaking rules.
You were in it to win it. You were in this for years.
Yeah.
Ricky, like many teen boys, loved sports and video games. Halo was his favorite.
When you look back at this kid, what do you think?
How did we go from there to where I am now? Like, how did I get that far deep into something that I knew, like, wasn't supposed to be done?
What would you tell this kid now?
Don't start hacking.
Soon, his gaming turned into something darker, seizing and selling desirable Xbox and Instagram accounts to users looking for specific usernames.
And then it kind of just spiraled into what it became.
He eventually started stealing money directly from crypto wallets, using not just his technical skills, but also his people skills, tricking customer service representatives into giving him access to accounts.
Well, what's interesting is I think when people think of hackers, they're thinking of people who are just living behind a computer screen. Yeah. And here you are having real connections with people, live human beings.
Yep, and you have to be fluent, you have to like talk to them, make them laugh, don't just one word them, you know, become friends with them kind of, and they just do it.
Ultimately, he says he alone made about $8 million.
What did you do with all of that?
I wanted to go out with my friends to parties, to clubs. I pay for everything. I buy cars, you know, trucks, four-wheelers, jet skis, side-by-sides, and just had fun.
To avoid detection, he says he would send his crypto to a contact who would then mail wads of cash through the regular mail.
It would come in like vacuum-sealed packages. My mom would go to the mailbox and she sees my mail and she just puts it on my bed, but she doesn't know it's $100,000 in cash.
We're walking out to the truck.
Ricky still remembers when it all caught up with him.
Shepherd Rod will be a little nervous.
If you want to lean against your truck or something, hang tight.
One male, adult, 10-12.
Ricky pleaded guilty to conspiring to commit wire fraud. He served 27 months in prison.
What are you thinking about during those 27 months?
Not knowing, you know, what's going on that day. Like, what's your family doing that day?
Well, I see the remorse on your face.
Yeah, you know, I just had a newborn baby. I wasn't here, so that part sucked. You know, first walks. No amount of money can bring back memories that you're missing.
Matthew Lane learned that the hard way his freshman year of college.
It was 6:30 a.m. I was just waking up after I stayed up that night.
We go up the stairs to the second floor where his dorm room is.
I get a bang on my door. I'm like thinking it's like the resident director or the RA's like bugging because like I had a lot of weed in my dorm and like I smoked all the time. But no, this man is pounding at my door saying, FBI, we have a search warrant for Matthew Lane.
The door immediately opens. Matthew Lane is there with 2 other occupants.
They're just tearing out my dorm. You know, they seized a lot of my clothes, my designer clothes, stuff I got from ill-gotten gains. After they left, I was like, it's over. It's over, I'm done. I'm done with this. I don't gotta deal with it.
Less than 2 months after the raid, Matthew pleaded guilty to 4 counts: hacking, cyber extortion, and identity theft-related charges.
I'm so thankful I got caught. I really am, because I would have never stopped.
He was sentenced to 4 years in federal prison and ordered to pay more than $14 million in restitution for what he did.
It was disgusting. It was greedy. It was rooted in my own insecurities. It was wrong in every aspect and unjustifiable. But now, I need to keep working on myself.
He says he's already started that process through therapy and getting sober.
Why did you agree to this interview?
I hope I can convince at least one person not to go down my path. Like, even if it's like one person, I'd be happy, honestly.
On the other side of his prison sentence,
Ricky, how are you, mate?
I'm good. How are you guys doing today?
Ricky now dedicates his life to making sure that others don't do what he did.
Yeah, I think everyone's pretty excited to hear, or interested to hear your stories.
He's talking to computer science students at a high school halfway around the world during an event hosted by the group The Hacking Games.
It's tough when you have a history and a record on your background. You're a threat to companies, so they won't hire you. Right now, I'm a truck driver.
The group identifies unconventional talent, connecting tech-savvy teens and young adults to jobs in the cybersecurity industry.
You've got this whole young generation who are like free-range chickens out there. And under no guidance, they can fall into really, really bad habits. Under the right guidance, you can take this generation and use their skills.
Fergus Hay is the founder of the Hacking Games.
When I grew up, there was stranger danger. We are not teaching our kids that in the gaming space.
Roblox says cybercrime is an industry-wide challenge, and they work with law enforcement to stop criminals. They added that they have hired young hackers to help secure their systems. Roblox also announced they will be introducing age-based accounts and expanded parental controls for users under 16 years old, rolling out later this summer. Experts say there are key things parents can do now to protect their kids.
What I'll say to them is you've got to get in there and game with them. In the same way you might take your kids out to the park to go and play soccer, or throw a ball, you've got to get in there and game with them, because then you'll understand their culture, you'll understand how they talk to their friends, you'll also understand who's talking to them. You've got to get accustomed to protecting your kids.
You have to monitor and listen to what your kids are doing. You may think, oh, my son wouldn't do that, but as a parent, you have to take action on that.
Coming up, Matthew Lane's message from behind bars. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Before we go tonight, do you understand that we actually have a message from Matthew Lane?
Yeah, I mean, Byron, he says that he feels like he's been given a second chance at life. He says he's been doing lots of work on himself and that his goal is actually to spend his sentence getting a degree in psychology and, fittingly, cybersecurity.
Well, so it sounds like he's making good use of this time to do good in his life.
Absolutely, and that's the bright spot in this. But we should tell you that the FBI says that there is an ongoing investigation into Matthew Lane's co-conspirators here.
Gio, great reporting as always. Thank you so much. We're grateful.
Thank you. This is a story that needs to be shared. It's got to get out there.
Amen. And that's Nightline for this evening. Thanks for the company, America. Good night.